This is the Google Home Hub. Alright, coming in from Google is the Home Hub. This is a voice-activated digital assistant that allows you to do all kinds of things around the house and in the kitchen. Well, I guess the kitchen's in the house, but organize your life a little better. The Google Home has been out for a good while. I have one. I think very highly of it, and I'm starting to use it more and more. Most of us have Google Assistant on our Android phones, and this is the kind of thing that it does. It allows you to bring up your calendar, bring up maps, integrate with other parties such as Nest, play YouTube things, play YouTube Music and Spotify, and go on to Google Photos, that kind of thing. It has a almost unlimited amount of uses. It's only limited by your own imagination, I guess, just to be a bit cliche about it. It's compatible with if this then that, so you can do pretty much whatever you like, really. So you can command your day, play your favorite songs, simplify your smart home, relive your memories, answers for any moment, visual and immersive answers from Google, which is always really very useful, and then make hands-free calls. This is something I'm particularly interested in. I really hope to get this up and running because, well, phone lines are becoming a thing of the past. If we can start doing that from Google Home, then life will be a lot easier and cheaper too. So, the reason why I have this is I picked it up on the Black Friday sale where they dropped the price down from $139.99, I think it was, to $99.99. A particularly good deal, if you ask me, because I am a fan of the original one. So it comes in, it looks to be a lot smaller than I'd anticipated. Every time I saw this, I imagined it was like a 10-inch tablet, but it's actually 7-inch. Of course, we have this side as well. So we have far-field microphones, a light sensor in the middle, a 7-inch touchscreen, a full-range speaker, voice match, multi-room audio, Bluetooth 5 on board, works with Android and iOS, and has both flavors of Wi-Fi built in. It does not have a camera on it, which was a security privacy type thing that Google threw on there. I've just got the funniest feeling that we'll see a camera add-on that pops on the top, and perhaps maybe just to reduce the cost of putting the unit out, Google may have opted not to have the camera on there, but people want to put these beside their beds, so a camera there would be a little intrusive and possibly hackable. So getting the box open is usually pretty difficult. It's a bit snug, if anything. And here we have the Google Home Hub. It is a lot smaller, an awful lot smaller than I had imagined. I was imagining this kind of thing for the size of the screen. And if you look at it, you know, that's a 7-inch tablet compared to historically a 7-inch tablet. I suppose it's a little bit smaller. So we'll come back to that in a bit. We'll have a look at what else is in the box, if anything at all. Oh, there is stuff. I suppose there has to be. We have a power adapter, which is not USB Type-C. This is one of the things that intrigued me as to whether or not it would be a typical power connector or USB-C or micro USB. It is none of the, well, I suppose it's a fairly typical power connector. Nice plug though. It has the Google logo there. You might not be able to see because of the oversaturation from the light here, but there's a G on there. It's a big plug, very big plug, and a fairly decent length to the wire. That's I'd say maybe about 2 meters long, so it should be able to get to most places from a plug socket. Most places, not all of them. We have a get started guide, which is handily placed in here. Be safe warranty. and just a card that tells you what to do. Plug it in, get the app, just say, hey, I won't say that out loud, and do stuff. Right, and then blue on the back. That's it. That's all that's in the box. Very simple. Right, so we'll have a look at this. We have a screen. There's plastic over it. I'm saying that looks overly glossy, especially around the edges here. But there's a bit of stuff on there. We have a hard button for turning off and on the microphone, which is quite nice. So you can just get that little bit more privacy out of it if you fancy. And then we have, I'm guessing that's a volume rocker, but there's a button there too. The material design is quite nice. I went for the charcoal grey one, and there's that little power connector there as well. No other connectors to speak of, which is a little disappointing. I had hoped that there would be a micro USB or something on the back that allowed you to maybe plug in some storage, but then I guess you don't really need that because it's not for playing movies and it's for streaming audio, so you don't really need anything other than that. But for, I suppose, the original Google Home had a micro USB on the back, but I guess they never used it, so they didn't really need it on this. There's nothing on the front here, no buttons or anything, so we'll pull off the plastic and see what it looks like without the plastic. And there we have it. Very simple, very small. There's a standard Samsung Galaxy S8 in front of it. I'm intrigued by the size of it because it is very small. I just can't get my head around that, because you see people using it in their kitchen with recipes and that sort of stuff on it. But right, we'll plug it in and I'll quit yabbering. And we're off to a good start. So I'm already on Google Home thanks to my current hub. Initial thoughts are the speaker is okay.
Welcome to Google Home. To get started, download the Google Home app on a phone or tablet.
Which I already have, because I have a Google Home and one in the bedroom. It's actually, yeah, it's in the bedroom. So this will be adding it to my home suite. I'm just going with a relatively boring title of Home Hub on this one, because I do plan to move it from my office down into the house. And we found it very simple. Google Home Hub 5289. There we go. And hit next. The screen is very bright. Looking at it from multiple angles, it doesn't reflect too much, because it does have lights pointed straight at it. Compared to this, the Samsung screen, this screen's actually pretty good. Where is this device? Seller. Yeah, I will put it down there with the unspeakables. It's going to go in the kitchen eventually, so I'm going to put it in the kitchen. Right now, we connect to Wi-Fi, and I imagine there's probably some kind of update to it, because I've seen and read some of the horror stories online about how poor this is at certain things. So we now have an update coming through, which is kind of handy. And while that's setting up, it is showing us more stuff on Google Home about how to set up your assistant to make it better for you, to recognize your voice and things. which is a bit odd because I have been using it for the last year. It should know me through and through. Okay, so this is telling me that my voice match has been set up. And I agree. The good thing about this is that it actually uses your voice as recognition. That's one of the things I'm quite excited about, because I'd like my wife and my kids to be on this, because they have their own Google accounts. It should recognize their voices as well. And it's picked up my default music service as YouTube Music and Google Play Music. We can switch between the two. At the moment I'm still using Google Play Music as my main music service, because I just don't feel YouTube Music is quite there yet, although it has been a couple of months since I last tried it. And it asked me about Google Duo there as well, and it's told me to choose an ambient mode where we can select photographs, also the daydream type of idea, where it can scroll through certain albums and things like that of your Google Photos, which is kind of nice. Or we can pick from Google Photos that we have online, or we can go with art gallery type ones, or we can go with a full screen clock. So we'll have a go with the Google Photos for a while until something deeply inappropriate comes up. Actually having to play through that because it's asking me to pick particular albums rather than just family pictures or whatever. I decided to go with the clock because there's a few different options which are kind of nice. There's only 6 there at the moment, but I would imagine that fans and other users are going to start designing them. And I quite fancy something like that, 1009. It's asking us to add video services as well, of which there's only all 4. We're in the UK. I would imagine in the US there's probably a decent amount. Okay, and it's finally asking for ambient EQ light sensor. This automatically adjusts the screen for the brightness. There we go. So if we were to do that, doesn't do anything right now. And then telling us that the microphone switch on the back, the volume controls, and our kitchen display is ready. I think it's calling it a display. So let's explore what we can do. We can save £20 for a limited time on a home mini, and I might do that just to have one in the bedroom too. Get news, so we can manage our news sources, which is quite standard. iPlayer radio, if you pay a TV license. Broadcast your messages, which is kind of useful. Ask about news stories. Donald Trump, great. We already have that on this. We can have Netflix on there too. Play podcasts. Find nutrition info. Manage a calendar. So essentially, if you were to imagine this suddenly being on your television, that might be a novel way to do things. Instead of having all your Android media players and things, having just Google Assistant on your TV. If it's able to deliver Netflix through it, then that obviously leads into, well, iPlayer and Amazon Prime and all that kind of stuff being delivered onto your...
Welcome to your Google Home Hub.
So that was a very cheery introductory video that I just flicked through there. It was important to notice that the gentleman who was narrating it did in fact say the keyword a number of times, and my phone and my hub that's over in the corner there, or my Google Home over in the corner there, didn't actually leap into action. It knew that I was watching that, which is I'm hoping it might have just been a fluke, but it's a very smart idea. So hey Google, tell me a joke.
Okay, here you go. What did the light bulb say to its mother? I love you, Watson Watts.
Alright, okay, so things aren't going particularly well right now. It's a wide screen, but it's still understanding my voice. Okay, well, we have a flip-up menu here that allows us to control the brightness, the volume, do not disturb is on and off, that doesn't appear to be working, and then about device, open source, license, and send feedback. So I'm guessing this is going to need some kind of update already, or maybe I'll just have to turn it off and on again. Okay, so quickly yanking the power cable out and putting it back in again to see if that helps remedy the white screen of death there. I did notice that this plug does take some work to get it out. Right, so we have the clock. Ambient EQ is on, and we have our calendar, 6 degrees outside, upcoming weather, cars that we can play with, top stories, Google Play Music, YouTube, and for your evening, set timer, make a call, show me my images, play my music, explore, more assistant type things. So we can fire across all these things, control your temperature, control your videos, check the weather, set alarms, have fun, check news, set timers, check dictionary, control lights. This is something that I'm going to get into fairly soon because I may as well just make the most of this, having a couple of the higher end Google Home Assistant hardwares. Translate, find music, find, drink, get to know. So yeah, there's really too much to go through and play with all of the different things, but it's important that the hub works well. There we have a shortcut thing at the top, shortcut shade if you like, lights, media, broadcast, thermostat, cameras and locks. I do fully intend on getting one of those Nest cameras. They do look very nice, and it would be lovely to be able to have that going. A number of them actually around the house. Get random numbers. Hey Google, flip a coin.
Sure. It's tails.
Terrific. And it's nice that my little image came up in the top corner, so obviously whenever my wife sets this up for herself or one of the kids, it'll recognize their voice. So it's 5:54. That's the time that most people should be able to deal with. Okay, well, we're going to go and take this down, have a play with it for a while, see how well it works, and see if there's any big problems. So if you have any questions, let me know in the notes down below. Hit that subscribe button and give us a wee thumbs up if you fancy, and other than that, take care.